everyone. I am the Professor Wang from the Kunshan University at the Tainan. Today, we will have a class about the Module 8, the physical security for the network sources. In this module, some physical security for network resource will be discussed. In this module, two important issues will be discussed. The part 1, physical security in network protection. Part 2, the practice for the physical security. Initially, we note what is the physical security. The physical security is the protection of the personnel, hardware, software, network, and the data from the physical action and the events that could cause serious loss or damage to an enterprise or organization. So it includes the protection from the fire, flood, natural disaster, burglary, thief, and terrorism. So, from the point of view that the physical security is from the organization view, you must to protect the information assets, include hardware, software, network, and the data. And some confidential information is in the step. So, personnel protection, and training is also the included issue. Natural disaster, burglary, terrorism, the protection also be considered in the physical security. In this module, we emphasize some security warrior from the network threat, because everyone uses the network to connect and access the data and information. And also, so the corporate information could be stored, transferred, and for the business use. So, physical to protect the security for the information, especially for the data, is our focus. In the further, let's move to the example of the physical security. What is the example about the physical security? Physical control example used for the securing the environment include type of the building material. In the previous slide, we have to encounter the natural disaster. So earthquake, flooding, that include the type of the building material you used. And also to protect the border, that's the fence and the lock. To protect the people from the data center or computer center. So access control is also to be considered in the physical security. Security guard is a dynamic. It can move one place to the other place. The entry for the access control and to the RFID or use the smart card let the legal people and your staff enter your organization, but the visitor or hacker, he was stuck outside your organization. So everyone knows that's the physical control example, but the scope of the physical security include too many. So you to put the countermeasures device at the right location, and he can perform the function at the right time. That's so important. What's the security measures on the network? We focus on the physical security on the network threat. Most of the people used the network device to access and transfer the information and data. So if the internet is down, every company cannot work. This is the truth. Okay, so some security device, such as the firewall, that's the most common security measure, and also antivirus engine system is the command used for the protect the malware attack. Also to prevent from the hackers the intrusion. So many companies use the intrusion detection system IDS to recognize what's the malicious action from the network connection. Network sniffers such as the Wireshark, you can to packet to capture and to know what's the protocol used in your company, and also you can to find out what's the connection from which IP is the begun or the malicious. After analysis the network behavior using the network sniffer, you can realize the actual scenario of the network connection in your company. Also, vulnerability scanner such as the Nexus is the open source of the vulnerability scanner. You can use it to scan the weak point of your host or network device. Also, the port scanner. Some hacker use the port scanner. He is also built in the Nexus. So now some hackers use Nexus. That's a security protection tool to perform the port scanner. Also, the OS the patching and the updating. That's to the basics of the OS to upgrade and fix some vulnerability of in the original operation system. And also some general the network tool like the team builder. There's some work that's to communicate with the device from the remote, but the hacker use it to intrude the system and to modify or steal some information. So let we draw a picture that's the security measure in the office. In the office, he not like in the network, but some information disclosure occurred was occurred in an office. The computers, the password, username, password, you have to change, and you have let of a vacation, have a free vacation, and you let the password ship to your staff. Then you know your password, but you do change in the password in laterly. So it can to misuse by your internal staff. Router, switch, he has the IP, so he easy to be compromised from the hacker as to the command control. That's attack to steal some information in your company. Also, that's printer. Printer have a hard disk. He also have the IP if we connect to the internet. So office staff almost forget that the printer is a network device. So hacker use this the printer's IP that's to attack or to perform his malicious action. Physical medium, you also to need to protect, not misuse by others, especially in the wireless the contact. Wireless the connection is insecure for most of the office. He can to get access from the Wi-Fi and to access the interior information in an office. Also, some retreat region, he have to equipment with the CCTV and then to watch and monitoring the people and to the audience the record for the security to check. This is some example the security measure in an office. What's the role of the physical security in the network security? This picture is showed use the key lock in the portable the notebook. The physical security played a crucial function in protecting valuable data and information. So with the ever-changing world environment and employee behavior, there are some new type of the network security threat. For example, like the Trojan or the botnet or some ransom, the threat or the APT threat. That's some new security threat from the internet. So physical security can sound like the no-brand, but the new form of the attack, unauthorized access, and the thief of the computer hardware occur all too often. So physical security, if you do very well, that's the next waypoint in your office or in your network configuration. This threat has made the device more portable and easy to steal. Especially in the wireless, everyone uses the mobile phone and to access some data or to view the internet or even down the data from the cloud database. So this information can be intentionally to release by the internal employee. So that's use the VPN to control. See the physical the security, the option. So what is the goal of the physical security? How to identify and achieve the goal of the physical security? There are a simple way. That's the 4 steps to better security for the physical security. That's the deter. That's prevent. Prevent the intrusion or the port scan from the hacker detect. Use the intrusion detection system to recognize what's the threat from the network connection. Delay. If it intrudes your system, you can do delay using some advice. For example, if the honeypot, or to redirect some species the connection to the honeypot and watch what they are doing, and also to add extra the firewall to protect the database. You can use the 2 or 3 different type of the firewall to secure your database. And the file server as well. Response. Once you detect the malicious attack from some resource, that firewall can cut this connection and to respond loads the message to the security officer. The security officer must then ensure that appropriate countermeasures are applied at the right location in the environment, and continue to check, review, and improvement. Let's review the threat model for the physical security. The first letter is S. That means the spoofing. Attack pretend to be someone else. That's the authentication issue. Tampering. Attack means present or modify the information. That's integrity issue. Reputation. Attack design that layer down non-reputation. Information disclosure. Attack steal privacy data, confidentiality issue. Denial of the service. Attack block the network connection. That prevent some business action from some web. For example, Alibaba, the web that cause to the availability issue. Evaluation of the privilege, the attack to modify the system privilege to promote more access than allowed. That's the authorization the issue. So, those you can check, use the strike to check the physical security. You can list, make a list to check it. So, and use the risk assessment, the skill, and the technique. In the previous module, we introduced to the physical security, and special focus on the access control, security control, monitoring, and the network collection. After you accomplish the risk assessment, you have an Excel file that lists all the information with the risk label. If they find the critical and the high risk item of the information, the access, that the security officer must ensure that the countermeasure for the physical security from the virus, the threat resource, and to fix a countermeasure lost high risk or critical item in a week or 2 weeks. Part 2. Practice for the physical security. In the first part, we introduce the what and the why why we to focus that's the physical security. And in this section, we to introduce some practice for the physical security. How to physically secure your network? Have the 4 steps. Step 1, protect the perimeter, that's the border. The outermost layer of the network physical security aims to keep people as far away from your computer center or data center, the property, as possible. From the fence, the mounted intrusion detection system to lot border or the bush that make people getting too close, whether they are on foot or in the device. In the device, especially he can use the wireless network to on your computer, and the network that to make some information disclosure. Also consider the physical border security to me almost like the firewall in your building. Step 2, control access to the facility. Decide whether it is possible to limit facility entry point. When you have the one main entry, let's force everyone come in the same way. Let's make contact with everyone at the front desk. And if you have the additional exit are required, that's to numbering, and consider installing door without exterior candle. That made the interior the step that easy safety to leave the facility, but it's very difficult to open from the outside. Access control at the facility and the data center entries is the necessity that your remote manager that have access to the facility. Step 3, let's monitor the anti-site. That's the camera can be used all the label. That's to make the monitor and know who and where do something. Surveillance the footage can be recorded and archived, allowing to easy to retrieve and review if necessary, and make sure that the surveillance system can provide the quality the image, that's the low light environment. And so in the dark, you can also see very clear that some people who are enter or exit. Step 4, provide a security at the cabin's level. The cabin access control system is designed by the IBM. That's offer the customized management and the administration and reporting. This is the modern locking system using the biometric RFID, the card or the coded locking handle that provide the user authentication and allow you to track the cabin access. Like this, he can choose watch from his control center, and you can view different someone's in, someone's out, and he use the network, what is transmit, what is download. If an incident occurs, that you can get an audit trail that will pinpoint how the breach happened and who is responsible. So, in some high-tech company, provide the security at the cabin level. That is the basis for the company the security the issue. So that's when we review 4 steps to ensure that the network security, physical security. Step 1, protect the perimeter. That's protect your border and keep from some people to access close to your company. control access to the facility. The set only main entry that everyone can see who entry and exit. Monitor the entire site. To camera can to put the right place and the record as the audience. Provide the security at the cabin and the level. Let's get to centralize the system to watch from the physical and the cyber LAC network. It can to recognize what action or especially in accident has happened. It also to record for the audit. This is the whole process to the security, physical security. For the first, you mustn't perform the risk assessment for the physical security, and to find out what item that the business impact analysis using the business impact analysis, and create a plan for the physical security. You can use the 4 step as the previous introduction, and test and exercise those the countermeasure after you risk assessment, and conduct after action the review, and continually the improvement until those the high risk or the critical risk item, and to move to the low risk. I think this is all. Today we discussed the module 8, the physical security for the network resource. These are the references. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.